I got stuff for you.
Holy moly.
I need to get some snakes and release them around my house.
But they love eating people. They love eating kids.
These guys are the scientists of the supernatural, lecturers leaving lessons for inquiring laymen. They are applying the scientific method to a world that baffles science. They are the cryptids of the corn.
Every day that you open your mouth,
I know, right?
I'm more convinced that you're abducted by aliens.
No.
And it just stood up. I mean, it just like kept going and going. And she goes, what the?
These are idiots.
I was laughing reading this because I already knew how you would feel.
Idiot. What part of the story fits your balloon?
Well,
This isn't a UFO. But who else has big black wings and red eyes?
Batman.
Oh, Mothman.
Oh, yeah, Mothman.
Well, everyone, I think we know exactly what it is. So say it all with me. It was the sandhill crane.
Would you try it?
No.
You wouldn't eat it?
No.
Why?
Because they're probably toxic. There'd be a lot of poop in my pants. Seen a 6-foot alligator go swinging through the air and slam into a tree. Welcome back to Cryptids of the Corn podcast.
Yeah.
I am the great, powerful mystery.
I'm JClone21.
I'm like, Michael, shh, you're not supposed to talk yet. Not supposed to, baby girl, calm down. And as you have already noticed, Jay is not here. And there's two different voices. First off, what'd you go by?
I'm JClone21.
21. Miss Emily is joining us tonight.
Mrs.
Emily is joining us tonight. And okay, let me get this right. That's what Jay's, the only thing he does on the show is announce people. It's the only thing he's done in 3 years, and I'm so bad at it. Okay. Award-winning, critically acclaimed, amazing author, a sea monster extraordinaire, good-looking hair, incredibly fast swimmer, we found out. Allergic to apples or apple-flavored things.
Yes.
Michael! Woo!
Yay! I'm so thrilled to be back. Thank you. What an intro. Thank you, Justin.
I was trying to, I'm like, what other stuff could I throw in?
It started out really impressive, and then it just got like, yeah, he's allergic to apples too. Don't forget that. You know?
All right, well, that's everybody on the show knows that story.
A classic story.
So
A very
that's
good
one. It's just, you're famous for that. Probably, besides Joel, our most repeated guest.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you've been on a lot of Patreon stuff too that the main crowd doesn't get to hear.
A couple of live streams. Too,
A couple live streams, like, yeah. So you've definitely got up there. The only other person I could think of, well, Joel, but Joel's on the show all the, he lives by us. He's on the show all the time, and then
Been around, gotten to come on the bus.
yeah, oh yeah, the bus ride, the critically acclaimed bus ride.
Classic. I need to post some of the clips from that. I recorded a bit of that adventure.
Oh,
That
and I
was
had
funny.
the music blaring, and I had the lights on in the bus. And then you
You
told
let
your
me
announcer
off to
voice,
pee.
like,
you
if you look to the right, you'll see traffic.
I
You know?
was doing. Oh my gosh! One more story before we get into it, because we get the only bad comments we ever get is we blabble. But it's an hour-long podcast. I don't know what you expect us not to talk. So we'll just sit here in silence. No, is when you told that cute waitress that Jay was famous. We told him we were famous, but Emily was sitting next to me. And then she starts looking at him, and she's like, and you're like, yeah, they got a tour bus outside. She peeks out, and there's a bus. And she starts a little flirting on Jay. And, oh, my gosh, it's fun to pick on him when he's not here. It's fun to pick on him when he's here. But no, Michael, so you're not just here to catch up, because we do that on the phone sometimes anyways. You're promoting your new book, and I just finally finished after probably about a year. You just had to force it into my hand, and I finally did. Your original book for the Winslow series.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's really good.
Thank you.
I listened to it in one straight go. So
that's good.
Yeah, and I didn't want to stop. It's very
That's a big compliment. Thank you.
And I get bored pretty easily when it comes to not books in particular, but just, trying to keep focused on something like that. It's just any like podcasting, anything like that. It's just, but the way you broke up the book was amazing to me. Because to me, I don't know, at least for my brain, it made it much more easily digestible. That they're in these individually story folders, but it's still all tied together.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. It has a unique sort of format. They're kind of, it's split into parts instead of chapters. I call them parts. Each one's its own cryptid story, but there's also an overarching story as well. They all connects at the end.
And it's that through line of through the eyes of the reporter, I really much enjoyed too. That it's not, even though part of the book is told through Winslow's eyes. Poor Bosco. You could have just left that part out.
Poor Bosco. Yep.
You could have just picked somebody else, couldn't you have?
Well, you know,
turtle in Indiana.
I was gonna ask you who your favorite cryptid, what your favorite story was in the book.
There was a lot of good ones. Okay, before I start into this, please tell everybody where to find your stuff, how to buy your books, how to support you.
Well, my name is Michael Thompson. I'm an independent author and illustrator from Northern Virginia, and you can find all my stuff at michaelthompsonbooks.com. You can find me on Instagram at mthompson_books. We've got 2 books now in the Winslow Hoffner series, Winslow Hoffner's Incredible Encounters and Winslow Hoffner's High Sailing Adventures. And recently, the audiobook edition of the first book has gone live on a few different new audiobook platforms, including Kobo and Spotify. Spotify's recently gotten into the audiobook game. So
I listened on Kobo for everybody at home, and I'll have all these links for Michael below. I like that app.
Yeah, it's a good,
For never
it's
having
the second biggest distributor of ebooks, at least I think, behind Amazon. And so so that was, I mean, they're up there. Not a lot of people know about it, but
anything not to give Amazon more money, I'm happy with.
Yeah, it's a good app.
But yeah, and then you're not just the Winslow Hoffner books. You have other books, the Orb series and Chicken Boy.
Yep.
And the art you do is amazing for that too.
Thank you.
Everybody needs to buy everything. And you go to conferences. Where's the next couple of people can come see you at?
Well, the next one that I'm going to be at in person is the Frogman Festival, and I'm going to see you there.
I was like, never heard of it. Never heard of it.
I think by the time this posts, it will already have happened. So we'll have all kinds of fun adventures. The next one after this post will be Encounter Quest 2 at in Hamlet, North Carolina. That's April 13th. And I'm doing all kinds of other ones. And I'm going to be speaking at some. I'm going to be speaking at one in September up in Raynham, Massachusetts, called Cryptid Fest. Raynham, I think it's pronounced Raynham.
Okay.
In the heart of the Bridgewater Triangle.
Is it? I'm going to move stuff around so this comes out the weekend or the Wednesday before Frogman.
Okay. Time traveling.
Yeah.
See us at Frogman. It's going to be fun.
Yes. Yeah, it's podcasting.
Special treatment.
Hey, ooh.
For our goodest of pals. But yeah, no, Encounter Quest is going to be a lot of fun. Frogman's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Frogman's Emily, like, I always joke, it's Emily's hometown's festival, literally. I mean, her dad lives
like 20, 30 minutes away.
No, he doesn't, Emily.
Yes, he does.
He lives maybe 8 minutes from Loveland.
Well, Loveland, yeah, but it's been happening in Mason, isn't it? Never mind.
No, it's in Loveland.
This year it's in Loveland. Last time it was somewhere
she's
else.
right. It was in Mason last time. Which Mason is like pretty. It's weird because Cincinnati is like this little hodgepodge of all these little towns that are right next to each other. So you can drive for 2 hours of being in town, essentially, trying to get from one town to the other. So, but no, it's in Loveland this year at the Oasis, I think, Conference Center. The links are all below for all of our festivals. Go to the website, cryptidsthecord.com.
I'll also say that Cryptid HQ is one of the few places where you can get autographed copies of the book. So if you want a paperback that's autographed, Mike from Cryptid HQ, we love Mike. Some on his site. And I've got a story for you, by the way, before I forget.
Yes.
I was at one of my book signings in December, the end of last year. And I was selling my book, and Winslow was kind of the feature there. And I was telling a father and his son about it. I said, oh, yeah, it's a cryptid sea story. And then their eyes got big. And they're like, ooh, we love cryptids and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then we got to talking. And the kid, he was like 10 or 9. and he just loved cryptids. He was like a prodigy. He was naming the most obscure cryptids possible. He had the book. He was pointing out each of the creatures on the cover and knowing them. And I thought, I thought that was amazing. And I told his father, Jeff, hi, if you're listening, I said to Jeff, you should listen to the Cryptids of the Corn podcast. You would really like it. And then he said, Cryptids of the Corn. I love that show. I've been trying to get my son to listen to it. And so, so that was in my neck of the woods. And so I found one of your listeners in the wild.
How awesome is that?
Signing. Yeah, cool. And he loved the show. And I said, yeah, hey, you know, I'm on that show sometimes, so you may run into me when you're.
Well, Jeff, if you're listening, thank you for listening. We greatly appreciate you. And like we said, we try to keep almost all of our shows kid friendly for that specific reason. That's awesome. I thought you for a second you were going to tell me you ran into my nephew.
No,
because he's over by you guys.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's what is he, 10?
Yeah.
10, and he's a cryptid whiz. And I bought him all of your books so far. He's got the Chicken Boy and he's got the Winslow signed copy. So I thought
I didn't know you did that. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so I was just like, I'm like, maybe they ran into William at a fest or just a book fair or anything. I could see my sister taking him to places like that and him going up to you because he's just like, yeah, I know what that is. Ask Gambo.
Yeah, I was blown away. Like he knew the globsters and stuff. I was like, whoa. I was like, nobody knows these. So incredible.
That's awesome. Well, Jeff, thank you. Why don't you reach out, Jeff? You send me a picture of you in Michael's book. Maybe I'll send you something.
Ooh.
I don't make no money. I make no money off this show. I give away too much stuff. It's just that kind of ride. But yeah, the Frogman Encounter Quest is going to be a really cool one. And you're speaking at events. That's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Is this your first year speaking at events?
First year speaking at the cryptid shows, at least.
Yes.
And I'm going to be doing what partly inspired me. One, you were kind of like the main inspiration. You said, Michael, you got to do this stuff. You know the stuff. You should do speaking. I thought, okay. And then I got invited by the Library of Congress for a paranormal forum to go into to talk about my Winslow Hoffner series and the sort of the process of what inspired me. I thought, okay, I could do a show about how I adapted the cryptids for a cohesive narrative in a fiction story. And then as I'm preparing that, I think this is a perfect show for the in-person show. So I could do a live version of this and in-person version of this. And so that's kind of how it started. So I'm gonna start. Hopefully, you'll be seeing me pop up more as a speaker.
I definitely think you'll do amazing at it.
Thank you.
I do think it takes a certain type of person to speak publicly, especially to keep entertainment. Because this is kind of we're walking that line of education and entertainment when you speak at those kind of events. Because cryptids are fun, but people want to take seriously too. And I think you'll do a great job. You definitely have the gusto for it.
Thanks, buddy.
What I used to speak at was fishery conferences, and that was just information. You maybe were allowed to make 2 jokes before they would start looking at you like, all right, get off. But it was a bunch of like 60, 70-year-old white men, and like 3 of them
prior
would
to
be
this,
fun.
I've been doing like superhero stuff for the Chicken Boy stuff. So I've been talking about Chicken Boy forever. I need to adjust. I need to adjust my mindset for the monsters, for the monster shows.
Now, the monsters is going to be a lot of fun. So let's get into your first book, if you don't mind me. I guess spoilers, everybody. But I want to talk about the first book. I have not had the pleasure of the second book yet. I will be getting to it very soon. Very, very soon. Very soon. P.S. I am drinking.
Shocker.
There's literally a beer right next to this microphone. How weird is that? I don't know where it comes from. Just like a genie looking around.
Genie in a bottle.
It's a weird ghost.
Well, you are drinking for 4.
Yeah. Drinking for a small Indian family. Was that not funny? Don't fall out of that chair. You're very pregnant.
I'll do what I want. You'll just have to pick me up.
No, I just love how... Okay, so Gambo.
Sure, the first one.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of going through that in my head that way.
All right, sure. We can talk about it.
I love how they wrestle. I don't want to give away everything with the story, but how they walk away with a mutual respect. And so Gambo just kind of hangs around Winslow.
Yeah.
And is he just kind of in the area, in the bay? It seems like, they're attracted to there for because of him.
Yeah. There's an interesting effect of Winslow kind of has a way with the creatures. Like he's like a Steve Irwin for cryptids kind of. And Gambo is our first introduction to the story. So we kind of have we're looking at it, like you said, through the lens of John Chaplin, our main character, who may or may not believe right at the beginning. But yeah, he does. Winslow and Gambo have a mutual respect, and there's an interesting sort of connection between the monster and the man, in terms of like, they both have gappy teeth. They got, particular things going on with their eyes and stuff. So it was an interesting way to start out. That was the first line that ever came to me from the book, which turned out to be the first line of the first book, which was, "Have you ever stared straight into the eyes of death and scoffed?"
Okay, which one of Winslow's eyes are real? Like, which one is not damaged?
They're both real, but his right eye is bulging always.
Okay.
So
I in my head, and it's probably my just creation.
Just like
I had
Jay's
it,
dad.
Yes, like Jay's dad. Love Fred. If you ever listen to this show, I'm so sorry. We love you dearly, and we respect everything you've done for us. But you do look a little scary. He's been burned by molten plastic. And then he got his face, like his eye cut open and lost by a giant pane of glass.
They told me the story. Yeah, it's terrifying.
So I just remember growing up and seeing Fred
so much. It's incredible.
And being scared of him growing up. And he's completely the nicest man. He does everything for everybody. But just as a little kid, he looked like he came out of the lake to get you. I make those jokes to him just so everybody knows. We play cards with him every Tuesday. We're very, very close to Fred. But no, so to me, I don't know. It just made me think of Fred. There you go. Made me think of Fred.
Well, Winslow's been through a lot, as well. I mean, as he's telling his stories, you see he's pulling up his hat, he's showing his scars.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like he wears the stories on him in one way or another.
Another thing I'd like to say I loved is the bar recap. The kind of all these little these little stories or these little encounters, and there's just always that one glint that makes you look and be like, "Oh, that happened."
Yeah,
paste the whole bar
like
into
an
balloon.
Artifact of truth every time. So usually there's some force of skepticism, and for a majority of the book, it's Ken Keeley, the cook and the owner of Keeley's Bayside Eatery, which is a place where we spend a lot of our time in the book, And so Winslow, as you say, he's got these little trinkets from his adventures where it like makes you question, or the characters at least, did this truly happen?
Just
he just happens to have it on him, every time.
Like he said, the cook accuses him of, do you come pre-planned? This is what we're talking about today, kind of deal.
Yeah,
and he does. Yes, I get that. I literally stick things in my pocket to talk about. Like, I have this little toy dusky shark. I wonder how that got there.
Yeah.
And no, I thought I love that. And then the mermaid story. And are you laughing at me?
No.
I can't see you because you're
The
behind
mermaid
the
is one of my favorite stories. I love the first line from that story that came to me was the exchange between him and the cook. And Keeley's like, "Do you honestly expect us to believe some pretty mermaid had the hots for you?" And Winslow's like, "I never said she was pretty.
That little girl.
This girl, Keel."
That little girl's like,
"Oh." Her hair was like seaweed.
Yeah, definitely more almost classic Irish mermaid or a sulky or silky.
Right. So it has this. It was a unique mermaid for sure. And I like playing with. There's a lot of inversions in the book. A lot of inversion of what you would expect. Winslow himself is kind of an inversion because the classic fisherman's tale is a tall tale and one it's associated with lying, and Winslow's a terrible liar. You see him try to lie later on in the book, and like when he's talking to Scialpi,
they're not journalists.
Villain. Yeah.
She's literally she's taking notes and has a camera around her neck. Is that a press pass in her pocket?
Mm-hmm.
That was funny. I did get a chuckle out of it, and he's just standing there on the other boat, just like, come on, okay. Like, yeah, we're all done.
He has
here,
him in
I guess.
the newspaper too, and he's like, "There you are." And Winslow's like, "That ain't me."
I wonder who that sounds like. I didn't do that. There's only two of us in this house that can drive. So one of us ran the car all the way out and parked it. wonder who
How'd you
it
like
could
the
be.
voices?
I enjoyed it thoroughly. You have a good job of because, like you said at the beginning, for everybody at home, that you did the audiobook. You know the
Yeah, I narrated it myself. Yeah.
and I thought you did a really good job of not only having distinct voices for several different accents, that you maintained that accent the whole time for that character. There was never a big, there's no fluctuation. It sounds like the same person through the whole thing, which is something I cannot do. And I can't do accents, and Jay can do accents better than I can, but that's something that you people who have gone to conferences have heard it, where me and Jay will talk in accents, and it just turns into something else after 2 minutes. Like, it just melts into something. And you did an amazing job of holding that character through the entire book.
Thank you. Yeah. I've got I've got all kinds of little test videos in my phone of figuring out the voice of different characters like Millie and stuff, and blending different sort of dialects, and it's not only the accent, you're right. It's kind of it's the personality and the
Cadence,
way you do it,
the
and
way they
also the way you
talk.
hold your face.
Yeah.
When I was recording the audiobook, my producer, I learned a lot from him, and he told me, he said, the audience can hear a smile. They can hear the way you hold your face. So it behooves you to act out in the booth while you're doing this. It's easy to, you're literally alone, but it's just like podcasting. We're performing to an audience just in the future,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I think you nailed it. I really do. And
Thank you.
I've definitely heard some other audiobooks I've listened to, and I will not name anybody. They should either have had somebody else read some parts, and I know I couldn't do it. I mean, these people have heard me try to do an accent, and it's 90% of the time, if I'm trying for something else, it ends up Australian. If I'm trying for Australian, it ends up Japanese. No idea why. It's just probably because I've been kicked in the head too many times by horses. Just all the wires.
Well, you gotta,
across.
if you're trying to do one, you should aim for the other.
Doesn't work. Then I have a stroke.
Then you'll calibrate.
See, then I have a stroke and I take a screenshot. There's my one J liner. Because he's always got
Anything is possible.
who knows? Wait.
Who knows? Anything could be possible.
There, he's with us. Oh, Michael didn't hear that. It was the soundboard. It was Jay talking.
Yeah, I heard it. It
Oh,
just
okay.
it froze up for a second.
It's probably
I
because
was about to say, there's Jay. He's coming in right
yeah,
now.
he's coming in.
Just for that one line.
Just for that one line he peeked in. Oh gosh, Jay, we miss you.
Rest in peace.
All right, so we covered. With my question with rest in peace. My question with Gambo is he Winslow's pet?
Yeah. Gambo
'Cause he's
is
on the
kind
back
of
of his
like
property,
Winslow's
right?
Dog. It's kind of a man and his dog in a way.
Okay,
Yeah.
I won't ruin the ending of the book, which is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a cool. I know exactly what you're talking about just by the way you're holding your face.
Yeah, so that is what made me come to that conclusion. Is that it's like he's like a really big fire breathing pet.
That's exactly right. The fire breath was a fun component of Gambo. Gambo's one of those cryptids or globsters that there's so little known about them that there was extra room for creative license, and so the fire breath was kind of something that I wanted to do. I like starting out, just as a writer, I like starting out my fantasy stories, especially with the most unbelievable concept possible, and then if I can make that believable for my audience and for me, then I think in a storytelling way, you have sort of the credibility is then established, and then moving forward. And that's important for Winslow, for the readers, the audience to believe Winslow, for John, the character, to believe Winslow.
That was an amazing point for me in the book. And I get what you're saying, because that is because when he's first telling the story, like you said, with Tall Tales earlier,
Right.
It's a fisherman. Yeah. Of course he caught a sturgeon with a giraffe neck, and and then but he walks out and feeds Gambo half of a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, it's all real.
Yeah.
Like that, I think that was a really amazing part of the. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling too much for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Still read the book. I'm purposely not talking about some things because it's such an amazing book, especially if you're a sea monster lover, because you paint these old school sea monsters to something really cool, and we don't have to talk about it, but I want to hint at something, and I want to know if I'm correct or not.
Sure.
So the Lake Erie story
Yes.
is not really about a fishing tournament. It's about the contest between him and Scalpy before he left.
I see what you're saying. In a way, a lot of the stories themselves carry symbolic value across each of the characters. So while like literally the backdrop is a fishing tournament, it is between Winslow and Scalpy. It's the state of their friendship. So like the big ending, the ultimate, and we can talk about sort of the broad strokes of it. Like, we have the Kraken in the big finale, Octopus Giganteus, and that big maelstrom, for instance, that's created between the two boats and the different sort of things that are going on there. That is the monsters themselves are kind of metaphorically the manifestation of the character situation. In this case, it's the broken friendship, the broken relationship between Winslow and Scalpy, and because of the different choices that they make.
And I think that was amazing because I really did enjoy that. And I think that is such a good symbol of like the Bigfoot community is the best one I can point to right now. Because there's the whole kill, no kill side of Bigfoot, and everybody has their own reasons and all this stuff. And I love that aspect of it. And like I said, we're not really going to talk about the end because that's the point of buying the book. Is getting there. It's definitely worth it. It was definitely a perfect climax to a book. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I loved the Mystery House Museum thing.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah. Lots of times people don't talk about this, so this is going to be cool.
Oh, that stuck out to me because I don't know if you ever watched Gravity Falls, for example.
Yes,
So it reminded me of the original Mystery Shack because, it was originally, everything was real and nobody cared to see the real stuff. So I started, the Stanford started putting all the fake stuff up because nobody cared about all the science stuff that was hanging up anymore. And that's kind of what it reminded me of, that it puts on this mask because everybody in the newspaper wants it all to be fake. So once you kind of lean into it, they stop fighting with you and they start promoting you and they help, So yeah, I got a closet full of real monster parts. Nobody believes this, so I glue antlers to a piranha and I sell T-shirts and. Yep. That's how
you can actually buy that real T-shirt from my website. If you're
no, you can't. I never knew that.
I saw the piranha lope. Yep. Yeah. It's on so there's a little T-shirt and that's mentioned in the book. I saw the piranha lope T-shirt.
Get on his website.
You can get that on in whatever color you like from michaelthompsonbooks.com, and you click on the merch tab, and so you can pick up that.
What was the one that he was wearing at the end? What color?
I saw the piranha lope. Yeah,
I know, but what color?
It was just white, I think. I don't remember if it was specified, so you can get whatever color you like.
Get me a yellow one.
Stop making eye contact with me.
But yeah, so Millie Matterhorn, she's a great character. This was an interesting, and you're right, this is an interesting facet within the cryptid world, the hoaxes, right? So Millie is a taxidermist and she creates these little monsters and stuff for exactly the reason you say, because people are more interested in the charming beasts, the little fake monsters that she makes rather than the real cryptozoological artifacts that she has in the back room.
I love how her husband comes out with the hand and she's like, and he took my husband's leg. Tired of hopping, woman.
That's great. Oh my God. I love that part. So he's like, this frightful creature ate my husband's leg. And John's like, wait, what? He's like, took hold of him with her suckers and just gnawed away. It was his favorite leg, Mr. Chaplin. I'm so sorry. You think the squid shark ain't real? Tell that to my poor one-legged husband. And then out he comes and he's got his hand in his sleeve. He's like, damn, that godforsaken squid shark stole my hand.
Oh
damn
my
Peter,
gosh.
I said leg, not hand. We were great on hand this time, woman. I'm sick of hopping.
That was a really fun exchange in the book. And then the whole place, and I think it happens to a lot of these museums. There's only a handful that I've been to a bunch of them all over the country. The Pacific Northwest is about the only place I haven't been. to these kind of things, and there's tons of them out there. There's tons of them everywhere in the country, whether they're mystery or monster or paranormal themed, Right. But did you get me one?
I don't know. You gotta look at it.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's it. Yes, I would like that shirt, please. Emily's actively buying merch off your website as we're recording this episode. And as everybody at home knows, we do not edit. So there's your promotion. The Great and Powerful Mystery is about to own I Saw the Piranhalope.
Mm-hmm. One day I would love a real piranhalope on a plaque, like in my office. I think that'd be so cool.
So, side note, I used to make fur-bearing trout.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
This is the first year of us doing the podcast. There's still a couple of them in museums.
I would.
Somerset, Kentucky has my biggest one.
How cool!
It's like a 3-foot long.
I've got a little figurine up there, but I don't have a full size proper fur bearing trout.
Maybe, actually, Sunday after Frogman, I can get you a piranhalope.
Really?
Well, we'll talk off air.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure I can get you a piranhalope.
You're blowing my mind right now, Justin.
So, anyways, yeah. So I think that happened to a lot of these little museums, though, is they start out being real, but as we learn from the paranormal and cryptozoological, the real, especially when we're just talking straight cryptozoological, the real is just biology, and it's boring. Even to the average day person, there's a little bit of excitement when you see a giant shark tooth, but it's whatever, right? You've seen shark teeth, and you see it one time, and that's the allure. And she's having like a tassel worm and all that stuff, a whole skeletal. And nobody's going to believe that anyways. And so it's just like, I guess it's that mindset that the community did to where when she was trying to promote it as being real, the fact that that room was real, it's not. This is all ridiculous, stupid stuff. The second she makes it hoaxy and she makes it, the sideshow attraction, everybody loves it. Like you said, Winslow even at the end has I Saw the Piranhalope t-shirt.
Yeah.
So that was they're interesting characters. The little dial, which I don't know, we probably won't talk about, I don't imagine, was a very interesting part to me too. Oh, sorry, I just got a link that my t-shirt is being mailed.
Yay. Cool.
So literally everybody, I did buy a t-shirt during this, and I think I have all of Michael's books except the Orb series.
All right.
I think I bought actually 3 of the first book because I gave 2 away. Yes. Anyways.
We will remedy that. We will get you. A copy.
Don't worry. We'll trade something.
Signed and everything.
I have to have them signed. I mean, I only know
absolutely. Here's a fun piece of symbolism too, since we're doing some book club stuff. This is a very subtle thing that happens in connection with Millie Matterhorn's Museum of Maritime Marvels. So in the following chapter in It Weren't No Sandbar, when Winslow's describing the location of the roadside museum, he says it's right at the corner of Barnum and Shaw, or right at the intersection of Barnum and Shaw. And so the symbolism there is we have Barnum and Bailey.
Okay.
And then we have Shaw, who is actually the scientist that discovered the platypus. And so on this hand, we have like the Fiji mermaid, right? There's a sucker born every minute. And so this was something that was fake that everyone thought was real. And then with the platypus, this was something that was real that everyone thought was fake. And Millie exists at the intersection.
That's awesome.
That's the symbolism there. Yeah.
That's really, and then she brought up the platypus. I do think it's either my favorite or second favorite part of that section of book, because my favorite part is the husband, but the platypus.
With the top hat and the cane.
Yeah, what does she always say? Misdirection. What is her line?
Yeah, redirection.
Redirection. Because she's an old show hand kind of deal.
Exactly. Well, she used to be in the theater.
Yeah.
And when we get to that taxidermy of the platypus with the still maintaining the showmanship, but sort of ushering you in, this is the real section. This is just a platypus, right? Albeit, fantastic with the top hat and stuff. So that's the symbolism there as we're going into the real section of the museum.
I love it. And so we had the tassel worm in there.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much all donated by Winslow. So did he kill a tassel worm?
He did not. No.
Okay, he just found one.
No. Winslow has not killed any cryptid.
Oh, good. I mean, I get self-defense on some of these guys, but I'm like a tassel worm, especially.
I can tell you off air how he got it if you're interested. You would be the only one who knows.
I want to know off air.
I'll tell you off air because there will be some. There may be a story about the tattleworm.
I'm gonna make an on-air guess. Do not tell me if it's right or wrong.
Okay.
As a fan, I'm making a guess. Another cryptid threw it up.
A very interesting guess.
Because I've personally, we almost got. I've told this story in the show before. We almost got in legal trouble because of that. Did I ever tell you that?
No.
Me and Emily were salmon fishing on a charter boat. And we were catching giant king salmon. I mean, Emily's, I think, was 62 pounds or something like that. Just
wow.
Monster fish.
Epic.
And it threw up, I think it threw up a pink salmon in the live well that was undersized.
Ooh.
So which
interesting.
Which was illegal. Because if we caught that and threw that in the live well, that would be very illegal. But this monster fish had thrown it up. And we ended up throwing it in the lake because it was, you could see it on one spot where it had been starting to be digested. But just if a game warden were to like throw open that cooler and you look in, you're like, okay, you got 5 giant king salmon, a bunch of big lake trout, and this little tiny pink salmon.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But no.
That ain't mine.
I mean, he threw that up, officer.
Yeah.
He threw that up. But no, he really did. But our game warden was, or not our game warden, our charter captain was very nice. And he actually took, I think he took a video to prove that you could see that it was like eroded on one spot from it starting to be digested.
There you go.
But when we cut open those fish, they were full of other fish.
I would imagine so.
So I can see a really drugged
Monsters.
giant cryptid accidentally throwing up a tassel worm.
They were tasty too.
They were really good. But that's my on-air guess. Don't tell me if I'm right or wrong until after. What else was I going to ask? So I don't want to give too much away, but I love the book, though. Everybody at home, seriously. Highly enjoyed it. The audiobook is on Kubo. Is that the name of the site again?
It's on Kobo, Kobo. It's on Amazon. It's on iTunes, and it's on Spotify is the big one. If y'all have Spotify Premium, I would love for you to listen there because they're brand new to the audiobook game.
And everybody, once you listen, 5-star review, some nice comments. I think I'm the first official 5-star review on Kubo or Kudo.
You are the first on Kobo. Yes, you are. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to be... I think my title got cut off because I didn't realize it only had so many characters. I just kept typing like it was still going. So if anybody reads that goofy review, because it's 5 stars and the comments are nice underneath, but the title just goes into nothing. And I didn't realize it until after.
I appreciate it so much, Justin.
I did enjoy it, though. I really did. It's not blowing smoke or nothing. It's just, one sea monster guy to another. It's very fascinating. The Bosco scene is horrible, though. I think you should be in prison. That's a terrorist act to what you did.
Okay.
Just so you know. Just so we're we're friends. We're on the same page.
Just a friend talking to a friend.
Of course.
Any other cryptid? Come on. I mean, that's like somebody clubbing a stellar sea cow to death. There's not.
Well, it
Book
is
2.
it is a pivotal moment.
Yeah, no, it was, and I get that. And I think picking such a peaceful, and then Bosco's or Charabasco, the Beast of Charabasco's back, real life story pairs with that so evenly that it's just an animal. I think you did a great job in that in the book too. That they're, even though they're fantastical animals, they're still just animals. They're not, even though they're huge and scary, they're not monsters. They're just trying to live. And pretty much everyone that, got violent because it was messed with first.
Exactly.
And that's very much, these true, and I believe all these exist. One connection I did want to make, where did you get Gambo breathing fire from?
So Gambo breathing fire, that was kind of just an aspect of my imagination, but I wanted to figure out how I could make it biologically feasible. And so my headcanon for it, and I think I've told you before, was okay, so underwater magnesium can burn and create its own oxygen. And so I wanted to create a biological magnesium-based sort of fire-breathing creature. And that was the direction I took with Gambo. Like I said, because there was so much available creative license to it, because it's such an unknown, such an obscure one. And I thought it would just be an interesting exercise and a cool thing to take something so obscure and bring it to the forefront and try to make it iconic. That's the centerpiece of the cover of the book, if you on the paperback book. And so that was sort of the direction that I took with that. So as much as I'm, I do quite a lot of research into each of these things. I'm putting my own spin on them.
Oh yeah, I mean, creative license and all that.
Convey them in a unique way.
So it just was interesting to me because older versions of the Bible, when they talk about Leviathan, Leviathan had that.
Oh yeah,
bubbling fire in the throat and stuff like that. To when it would open its mouth and the waters would boil, and it made me. It just brought a bunch of old, like biblical images of that sea monster, which sea monsters are. Very old-timey biblical things. We've had them on our maps forever. It's whether they're real or not, they signify the true power of nature and the ocean. There's these walls of flesh. I did like, we'll talk about it off air because I don't want to give away any more of the book. I did like your depiction of Bessie.
Thank you.
Very unique. Very cool. We did South Bay Bessie a long time ago on the show. And there's still sightings every once in a while, and the sightings have been very unique. I'm sure when your research, you came across the Lake Erie Chomper, though.
Lake Erie Chomper. I'm not familiar with the name. Maybe I did, but I don't remember the name.
I'm sure you did it during the research, but we look into so much of this stuff all the time. It's
right.
The Lake Erie Chomper was seen during the big South Bay Bessie flap, but on the Lake Erie side or the Canadian side, right across the lake. Bit a kid really bad, highly documented. We talked about that for the South Bay Bessie too. Really, really bad bite. It most likely was a really, really oversized muskie with the teeth pattern on the kid. The kid lived, but it was almost fatal because of where it bit him, right through the stomach. And for people that think, freshwater fish don't have the artillery like saltwater fish, they do. A muskie get huge, and it was a dad and a kid swimming, and literally he just sees his kid get yoinked, and just pulls him out in this just big bloody bite mark across his midsection from what was most likely a humongous muskie. But yeah, that was happening during kind of the same time. So some people lump it in, and some people don't, because it really didn't fit a lot of the descriptions of South Bay Bessie on the Erie side of it. But that was also when the river was catching on fire here. So who knows? Anything's possible. Where's the button?
Who knows? Anything could be possible. Holy moly.
There we go.
There goes Jay walking in the background again.
Man, he's fast. I keep trying to catch him. Oh, there he is. There he is. I see him right back there. Bald and everything. Pointing at Danny. Do you have any questions for Michael? Did you enjoy the book? You can talk. People, it's an audio base.
Yeah.
People don't know you're shaking your head.
Hear the air.
No, these are expensive bikes. They better not hear the air. No, but I mean, you've not read Michael's book.
I have not.
Yeah. So that was the joke.
We'll get you one. We'll get you one.
Don't worry. And you read a lot, though. You read a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Or at least a lot of different stuff. I read a lot of like the monster books and stuff like that. Well, for research. But anything that we left out that you want to add to people, because I'm trying not to do everything in the book, obviously, because it's people need to buy the book.
Oh, sure. Well, I'll just how about I ask you, like, what questions do you have now that you've read the first book going into the second book?
I definitely.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the hunters?
Sure.
Okay. I just don't want to, there's just the whole side plot of where he came from, what his job was originally, dealing with these creatures and these hunters that still exist for these monsters. Way before we met you, a long time ago, we did an episode called the Cryptid Containment Program.
Ooh.
It's on Patreon, one of our older Patreon episodes, where I had this thought that there's this group of people out there like you have in your book, and I'm not the first one. You're not the first. This has been thought for a long period of time that there's some organization out there rounding these things up for whatever reason. So, and I get like the Kraken at the end. I get why that would be scary to some people, but the big turtles and why would they be out there hunting? Like, what does a 6 foot tall turtle matter besides being a 6 foot tall turtle? It's just a turtle. It's just, it's not breathing fire. It's not killing people. It's just a turtle. But I guess that was a really interesting, and I'm very excited to see how that progresses moving into the second book. And there's little, hints that they, they're very cryptid, maybe even paranormal related, the joke about aliens and stuff like that. And then these weird pieces of technology they have, which is, I really find fascinating. So I guess I don't have questions that I don't think will be answered in the second book, if that makes sense. Or moving in through the story, whether it's the second, third, fourth book, whatever, because I'm very excited for how you painted the storyline.
Oh yeah, your instincts are correct. We do get deeper with the agency, and there is a uniting force across all these seemingly disconnected styles of creature that makes them group together and makes those certain pieces of technology work, or sometimes work, as we see in the book. So there's a uniting factors, like even though this is a turtle, this is a Kraken, it's like what unites them, and we go deeper into that in the second book and beyond, for sure.
Very interesting. And it's like I'm trying to think, there's some programs like the modern day Monsterverse, to where they show that these there's titans of all species, of all family groups, and it's something that kind of makes them a titan, from one little click, but so they're all connected, with all that. And I do kind of get that feel, so I'm super excited to see what that actual underlying connection with a giant turtle and a fire-breathing crocodile and an octopus the size of the state of Wyoming. So that's exciting. And then a big sturgeon. Just a big sturgeon, right? It's just a big sturgeon. It kept coming.
That's all it was.
And coming. No, so I'm trying to think of what other questions. I'm very confident that all of the questions I have are just related to how the story's progressing, and I think they'll all be answered. There's nothing from you as an author standpoint that I think won't be answered, if that makes any sense.
Of course.
And I don't want to cliffhanger like questions.
Yeah, but purposeful. Like we watch TV shows, we read books and stuff, and sometimes there's just these little threads that don't go anywhere. And I'm trying to think of a recent. Well, The Outer Range has a couple of those that not upset me. I'm like, then why did we even talk about this? If we're not moving forward with this as a story aspect, why did we even bring this up and spend, 20 minutes on it in one episode, when it's like, I don't know.
For sure. Everything whenever I write, I'm very conscious of the time I'm taking up. Everything is extremely purposeful, down to the choice of words. So,
and I think you do an amazing job, and there's a reason you're having so much success with this stuff. It's because it's good.
Thank you.
I mean, it's good. It started all with you drawing a chicken boy.
That's right. Yep. Yeah.
I think I have questions about the machinery. I have questions about, how Hammy is going to come back and how I don't even remember her real name. I'm going to be honest with you. It's
Becky
Hammy.
Hamron. Yeah.
No, it's Hammy. It's
Winslow calls her Hammy at the end. Well, we call her Hammy,
Well, because they got an argument about names. He's like, Hammy.
Yeah.
Oh, nope. Hammer is fine. Because it's just that guy. I don't know. It's just funny to me. Yeah. Do you have any questions for Michael as an author?
No.
You sure? Mm-hmm. You were very talkative this episode. You just want to sit in on one, didn't you? It's been a while.
It has been.
Since the last time they made me ban your episode publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Because people just can't stand you for some reason.
Must be the way I describe stuff.
Oh my gosh. Cryptid Bingo was really fun the other night. But Michael, please promote yourself all over again. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we get to that, though?
Well, the second book is out as well, and we get into some cool Celtic stuff, some really neat cryptids, which I think could make a whole neat episode if you're interested. We have some called the Afonk. We have one called the Dobarku, and of course the Loch Ness Monster. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
No, I've never. No way I've done 10 hours of it on this show. And the first 3 hours are just describing how the lake is formed. No way.
Yeah, check it out. That's the audiobook is a really great way to catch up. We don't have an audiobook for the second book yet. My producer's between studios, but I
was going to ask, is that planned though? Is that in the pipeline?
It is planned. I was speaking with him today about it, and we're going to see what we can do. But he is between studios, so it's a bit of a question mark as of now. But they're available. All of them are available in ebook and paperback. The first one's available in audiobook format, which I narrated myself on Spotify, Kobo, Amazon, Audible, all those platforms. Pick your favorite, and please leave reviews. I'm definitely looking for more reviews.
Leave reviews. I think you should have, though, just a suggestion, you should have Jay read the next one for you for the audio.
I would love to have Jay read it. Yeah,
no, you do.
We can get Jay a code of for this one as well if he's interested.
No, I mean like read for it for the recording.
Oh, for the recording? Oh yeah, that would be great.
He'll just do it. He'll sit right there and do it for you.
Sure, that would be a good little ad, good little promotional vignette.
You don't want me to read it for sure. I can hardly read, let alone read and speak. No, and I'll have all the links below, everybody. But please, those 5-star reviews matter a lot. It takes 10 seconds. It really does change. You know how the algorithm pushes things, how selling and all that happens, and it really.
That's exactly what we're looking for. Everything's on michaelthompsonbooks.com. You can click the book section and see all the different series going on.
I'll tell you what.
Find your next favorite adventure.
If anybody shows up at a conference this year wearing a I Saw the Piranha t-shirt, I'll give you a Cryptids of the Corn t-shirt.
Ooh. Oh my, that's very generous.
Let's see how it goes. But, Michael, never mind. That was not a fun game for Michael to play. I was going to say, if he has anybody come up in our t-shirts, he has to do the same thing, but that's not fair. There's a lot of t-shirts.
I don't have t-shirts. I'll give you something for free for sure.
Okay. Because I'm like, there's a lot of I've mailed a lot of t-shirts.
I got some fun free stuff. I don't have the t-shirts on me. I got a distributor doing that, but I got some free stuff. I'll give you something free for sure. Awesome. If Justin sent you, absolutely. If you're a friend of Justin, you're going to get something at my table.
There you go. And it's amazing. Thank you, Michael, for coming on. Sorry it took so long. We were just in that weird spot. Your new book came out, and it just was like, we got in this weird spot of just being hyper busy, and you kept texting, and I just felt bad because it's just like, and I just had Emily just put, there's a date that this releases we had the date scheduled when it releases way before it was recorded. So I'm like, that'll force me to get it done.
That was an amazing feature. It's coming out this day, but we're recording. I don't know when we're recording.
It's just got to be funny. At least 2 hours before this.
No, you guys were very prompt, and you guys are fantastic. Loving the show, loving seeing you guys grow, and people wearing your shirts in the wild, and people and coming upon fans of yours at my book signings in Barnes and Nobles. Really cool, really a cool feeling.
Remember Jeff? It was Jeff, right?
It was Jeff. Yeah.
Remember Jeff? If you're out there, send me a picture, any of our socials or email or whatever, of you with Michael's book, and I will send you a free T-shirt. All right, Michael, you know how we like to end this. We're going to count down from 3. We'll all scream by, and then the outro will play. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, I got to move. Oh, gosh, so much noise. 3, 2, 1, bye.
Bye.
Hey, guys. Thank you for listening to Cryptids of the Corn podcast. Remember, the best way to support the show is share it with a friend. But if you are craving more of the J clones
and more from Mr. E,
there's always extra content on Patreon
and our paid member space on cryptidsofthecorn.com.
We'll catch you next time with more exciting, fun, and informative information. Bye.